Anyway, I got a hold of a Nintendo rep earlier. I asked him if Fire Emblem 12 was going to be released internationally. I also asked him whether Fire Emblem 13 was also going to be released internationally, and this is what he had to say about it.
I am not involved in the decisions of what games get released into the different markets, so I don't really know the answer to that. In general, certainly when we're taking a look at what kind of games are going to be released in different markets, certainly the different styles of games tend to be more popular in different regions. Just in generally speaking, a lot of the RPG strategy games are maybe more popular in one region than the other. We'll also look at past sales performances, and that factors into those kinds of decisions. But there again, that's not my specific duties. So I can only kind of give you those general overarching kinds of concept statements.
And will the next Fire Emblem game that's about to be released in Japan in the U.S. Actually, that's about to be released in Japan going to be released in the U.S.
Don't have any information on that to share with you. You'll have to kind of stay tuned. Certainly, when and if that happens, we will be absolutely talking about it, and you can always check Nintendo.com for the latest information.
Well, anyway, the Nintendo rep showed me off camera the number of games which are available for download from the previous GBA platform. Amongst them was Fire Emblem 8, The Sacred Stones, and a dozen other titles which I recognize and don't recognize. I asked him if Fire Emblem 6 was going to be downloadable for the 3DS. He said he wasn't sure, but at this time I would like to see Fire Emblem 6 released internationally for once, because when Fire Emblem 6 was originally released, it was only released for Japan only. And to finally see an international release for that game would mean so much to me and the many others who have been waiting for this game to get a somewhat official translation than just a fan translation. Aside from that, he then told me about a game known as Xenoblade. I never heard of Xenoblade before up to that point in time, but I told him I would do research on it to better understand what's going on with that series of games. And then later that day I tried to get a hold of a Blizzard rep to check up on the status of Starcraft Ghost. I couldn't get a hold of a rep, but they were somewhat wishy-washy about whether they were still developing Starcraft Ghost or not. But it's been about nearly 12 years in the hole since that game has started development, and I would also like to see that game finished like a few other titles that have been in development for a long time but are finally getting released or never going to be released at all. Well, anyway, I just wanted to give you this update, and I want to make sure you stay tuned for more content I'm currently filming and acquiring for GDC. Thanks.